Hey, this is your ACC, and we're fucking back. And this here's a pretty big moment for me, because I'm about to talk about something that has been hanging on my mind for years and years. Ladies and gentlemen, and others, I'm finally reviewing South Park.
I'm going down south, I'm gonna have myself a time.
Friendly faces everywhere, humble folks without temptation.
Going down south, I'm gonna leave my woes behind.
And we're parking day or night, people shouting, howdy neighbor.
Heading on up south, I'm gonna see if I can't unwind. Come on down south, I better meet some friends of mine.
We're finally here, aren't we? Let's begin with my very first exposure to South Park.
Now, what do you think is going to happen when I introduce the element of the gerbil to the endothermic heat of Mr. Slave's ass? Well, let's see. Ah! Oh, Jesus Christ!
When I was watching that, I was 10. Now here was a second exposure.
Oh no, it's locked. What? No, it can't be locked. We have to confess. We have to confess our sins before we die. Hey, there's a window in the back that's usually open. The confession box is over there. I'm first. Oh. What the?
This was also when I was 10. And my mom was in the room. And the first thing she asked me is, "What's he doing in the bathroom?" She's from Japan. Since as a kid, my exposure to South Park wasn't all that pleasant, unfortunately, I'm not one of those fans who grew up with this show and used it to make crucial decisions about my childhood and teenage life, because I wasn't watching it. Thus, in the full 21 years that South Park has been airing, I've only been a fan of South Park for 7 years. I watched it on my absentee roommate's TV one night to block out a pre-orgasm happening in the next room, and it gave me some joy.
That's the 5th store we've been kicked out of. Why is it so hard to get an erection? I just want an erection so I can give it to my mom.
What?
Oh, where are you gonna go, Kenny? You gonna see your little girlfriend again? Dude, you spend way too much time with that girl. If you know...
Of course I wanted to see more, so I watched every single episode from the first season to the 11th season, and since then, South Park has brightened some very lonely and depressing days and influenced almost every creative, comedic, and political aspect of my life, which is why I include a South Park clip in almost every one of my reviews. The question on my mind was always this: do I have the authority to review something like South Park? Could I really tackle a show that is so big and monumental and give it the respect it deserves? When I first started, the answer was no. And 3 years later, still, the answer was no. I just didn't have the appropriate amount of skill or knowledge to do it. And now we're here, 5 years running, and I've reviewed almost everything I wanted to review. And now do I think I have the authority to review South Park? No! How? How can I review something that has had so much effect on my adult life and millions of others? I mean, this is more than just a show. It's an institution. It's a fucking religion. It's like judging God. And who has the authority to judge God? Nobody.
It's like those miserable psalms. They're so depressing.
And yet I'm doing it anyway because sometimes even when you're not ready, you have to do it. Or else you go insane and puke your insides out of your eyes. At first I thought about basing it on my favorite episodes, but then I thought again and I realized I can't do this just for me. This is so much bigger than me. I mean, this is a show that taught many of us, including me, how to really live. This is the show that has ignited deep thought on some everyday issues that have plagued our minds for years and years, but haven't been brave enough to talk about. South Park is, for the people who know the truth behind all the bullshit, but don't have the audacity to speak it, our ultimate voice of reason. And I figured that the only way to really honor South Park for the irreplaceable treasure it is is to take the episodes that have probably given us the most to think about and just go with that. Fair warning, I am going to go very fucking deep here. So pardon me if this is too solemn for your jocular ass, but I really want to take this shit seriously. Let's do this.
We are strong. No one can tell us we're wrong. Searching our hearts for so long. All of us knowing. Love is
Number 10? No, 11. No, 12. Why more than 10? Because I'm not fucking disciplined enough, that's why. It has nothing to do with going the extra mile and shit. Number 12.
I love you, Jesus. I want you to walk with me. I take good care of your baby. Call you my baby, baby.
I have some strong opinions about Christian music.
All the girls, boys all over the world. Whatever you've been told, you're worth more than gold. As we call out to dry bones, come alive, come alive. Hills and valleys, gotta be hills and valleys. I just need you on my darkest day. When I'm losing faith.
And the fact that South Park dared to go where they did for this one, I fucking thank God for that.
Our band should play Christian rock. Christian rock? Think about it. It's the easiest, crappiest music in the world, right? If we just play songs about how much we love Jesus, all the Christians will buy our crap. That's a retarded idea, Cartman.
Yes, Kyle has his doubts, but sadly Cartman is fucking right. All you have to do is have positive lyrics that don't talk about getting laid or getting high or killing babies, and you've got a pretty faithful audience.
Ooh, this would be great for my grandchildren. They need hip, cool music, but with inspirational lyrics.
And they pretty much nailed the pussy hard rock Christian bands.
Send down from heaven the spirit and the glory.
Not only does South Park analyze the holy shit behind Christian rock, but the shit that's behind the music industry in general. Basically, music is a money-making scheme, no matter what fucking genre it is. And it brilliantly over-dramatizes the concept of downloading music for free on the internet, treating it as a truly tragic thing.
Here's Britney Spears' private jet. Britney used to have a Gulfstream 4. Now she's had to sell it and get a Gulfstream 3 because people like you chose to download her music for free.
However, I only put this as number 12 because the subplot about getting the platinum album first and the musician's strike is not nearly as engaging as watching this whole Christian rock shit go down. I mean, this shit is out of control, down to the old K-Tel Records commercial parody.
The CD is filled with instant classics. Who doesn't remember?
The body of Christ, sleek, swimming body, all mustered up and toned. Body of Christ, oh what a body, I wish I could call it my own.
This is one of those episodes that really made me believe in South Park's brilliance. And yet, this was only the beginning to discovering just how fucking genius this show really is.
Oh, I wanna believe it's alright, but I get lonely in the night, and it's up to you to save me, Jesus, baby.
Number 11.
Battlefield.
The town of South Park is going to be leveled in order to make way for a 12-lane superhighway.
But how can they do that?
The Native Americans have purchased the land out from under us. Tomorrow they're buying the last of what they need to have complete ownership.
Oh, South Park, you are the sole reason irony exists. Yes, you heard right. Native Americans are forcing the people of South Park off their land for their new developments. Oh, sound fucking familiar? Well, somebody was paying attention in school. In this one, South Park brilliantly reverses the roles of Americans versus Native Americans. The Native Americans are forcing the Americans to move away from all that they know.
We grew up here. Our parents grew up here. We shop at that Walmart and eat at that Chili's. We take fish from the streams and bread them and freeze them to make fish sticks. This is not just a town. It is our way of life.
Well, your way of life is about to change, little boys. Now move.
This ironic situation is so fucking genius that I don't think I need to say much more. They even throw in this scene where the Native Americans get the people of South Park sick.
We will present the blankets as a peace offering, but what the round eyes will not know is that the blankets are infected with SARS.
Oh yeah, SARS. This was made in 2003. The reason why this is only number 11 is because this episode is only relatable if you're an American, and also because some aspects of this episode are admittedly racist.
Bear walked into a bar. Bear said to Deer, "May I please have a drink?" And so Deer said to Bear, "Why the big paws?"
Not to mention a fucking useless cameo.
I guess we all learned that South Park is more than just a town. It's a community that nobody can split up.
Dude, who the hell are you?
But racist or not, and even with Alex here, this is still one of the most clever South Park episodes I've ever seen, and maybe one of the most clever concepts I've ever seen, period. What the Americans did to the Native Americans was fucking wrong, yes. Maybe we do need a taste of our own medicine.
Thank you for playing at Three Feathers. May your life be filled with the Song of the Sparrow.
Oh, shove the Song of the Sparrow up your ass!
Number 10.
Battlefield.
The world holds its breath as an alien ship prepares to land. Now that our planet has achieved warp speed, we're about to be welcomed into the Universal Society. All thanks to a father and son who broke the warp barrier using only the parts in this Pinewood Derby car kit.
Here's the whole point to this episode. How honest are we, really? According to South Park, not very much. Thanks to Randy here, one lie leads to the aliens landing in South Park and the entire world getting involved in this crazy scenario. As a result, the entire planet gets lost in a web of dishonesty, which leads to incredibly unnecessary actions to take place. And everyone who is supposed to be a responsible adult just cannot tell the truth.
Yeah, listen, these police aliens are here, and they're wondering if anyone's seen an alien named Baby Fark McGee's ex. No, we haven't seen Aryan. We've seen nothing here in France. Sorry, nobody in the world has seen anything.
Yes, South Park indeed does not take kindly to dishonesty. Therefore, they were driven to create an episode that judges the entire human race and develops a theory as to why we haven't found any so-called intelligent life. It's because we are obviously the dumbest.
You're absolutely sure you didn't see an alien land here? No, we're sure. So then, we're the first aliens you've ever seen. That's right, yep, you're the first ones. You don't seem that excited about your first contact with alien life. Oh, that's right! Oh my god! Hey everybody, we just made first contact!
In the midst of all this fucking madness, it takes a kid to set everyone straight. And even after that happens, the rest of the responsible adults say...
Nope. No changes, no. No changes. No, tell them no. No changes. Yeah, no, we've told you everything, space officers.
That's another one of South Park's plot devices. Comparing the innocence and common sense of a child to the dishonest and corrupt mind of an adult.
You have to learn how to lie correctly someday. Might as well be today, all right? I love you, son.
What put Pinewood Derby on the list is how this episode somehow creates a scenario that is relatable on a universal level. No matter where you live, everyone lies. And if we were faced with this situation, we would most likely react the same way. We're just fucking dishonest humans, and there's no way around it.
Hey, any other countries see any space cash? No space cash.
No way.
No space cash.
No space cash.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the space cash was ever here.
off the hook. Number 9.
Battlefield.
Oh my god, you guys are not gonna believe what happened to me last night.
What? Tell us.
So, I'm watching the season premiere of Boy Meets Boy on television, and then Queer Eye for the Straight Guy comes on, right?
Not gonna lie, Kenny looks fucking adorable in that fuzzy parka. In this one, South Park goes metrosexual like you've never seen. All of our favorite male characters, or not so favorite even, are dressing and acting differently, as if being gay is suddenly the new trend. But who's not happy about it? The actual gays.
One of you? We spent our whole lives trying not to be one of you. You can't do this to us.
Once again, oh, the fucking irony. Even though I don't really remember much about the metrosexual fad in 2003, or the show Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, I do remember that gays were being more accepted, but people weren't quite ready to tolerate it in their own households yet.
I think it's great that gays are finally being so accepted.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
Ah!
My, how far we've come since then. But this is yet another example of South Park's genius, revealing how easily certain people get into trends because they simply have no culture. And all that does is end up confusing the fuck out of the people who actually followed that culture first.
Well, Mr. Tweak, why don't we go back to my place? Oh, goodness, no, I'm straight. Straight? Oh, what the hell is going on here?
More shit happens. Even crab people. In the end, it's the women who end up saving the day. But the moral of this one is pretty damn clear.
Be who you are, not what's cool.
Though it may not be as epic as the other episodes, it was definitely needed back then. Gays wanted to be accepted, not followed, and South Park proved that.
You're selling out your own kind. Look, us gays have created a lifestyle, a culture that is uniquely ours. If we keep trying to make straight people into us, well, we're gonna have no identity left.
The only thing I wish is that Big Gay Al made an appearance, but all in all, a good episode. And even though I do think Follow That Egg and the F Word are also notable, the fact that all the male characters except Garrison and Slave are all acting and dressing differently brings everything to a whole nother level. And apparently South Park knew something that we didn't. Our world was about to change forever, and we better get used to it. Number 8.
Hey, I know. Let's make a videotape of us having sex with boys. What? I just got the Stupid Spoiled Whore video playset.
Stupid spoiled whore, video playset. Show the whole world what a slut you are.
2004 was a considerably slutty time for girls, wasn't it? It was also the year that Mean Girls came out, which confirmed that it was true. Also, girls went from playing with this to playing with this. I do remember seeing at a girl's house that Bratz dolls looked like prostitutes. I was never invited back there again. In this one, the celebrity who gets the brutal South Park treatment is Paris Hilton, who is apparently supposed to be every girl's role model.
Hey everyone! Sorry if I'm a little spent. I did a whole lot of partying last night with a lot of different guys.
And my god, did South Park go to town on this chick. They reveal that despite her wealth and fame, she has a horrible attitude, disgusting lifestyle, and should by no means be revered by anyone.
Stupid redneck idiot!
Thanks to role models like Paris, South Park knew all the horror shit that girls were getting subjected to, and how the fucking parents were buying that shit for them, and how the girls whose parents did not approve of that shit got snubbed big time. Which is why the scene is so damn satisfying.
F*** you, Millie! F*** you, Annie! F*** you, baby! F*** you, whatever your name is! And f*** you, bitch!
But probably the most gratifying thing about this episode is that Mr. Slave is the one who ends up calling everyone out and bringing Paris to her fucking knees.
The last person you want to be like is Paris Hilton.
Mr. Biggles!
Paris Hilton is a nobody. She may have money, but she's a thoughtless, talentless lowlife.
Who the are you calling a lowlife?
As of today, this is still the only South Park episode that is geared primarily towards women, which is why it made the list. Though I could compare it to the breast cancer show ever and Eat, Pray, Queef, you just can't compare it to something that understands what a fucked up life girl world used to be.
Look, here comes Clyde. Party at my house tonight, Clyde. You're invited. I'd like a piece of that. I want to do him.
Yeah, fuck you, stupid spoiled whores.
Love is
Number
a
7.
battlefield.
What the hell?
Stan! Stan, I gotta use your computer.
What?
My internet's not working. I gotta use yours. And give Daddy some private time, will you?
My internet's not working either.
What?
Yeah, we definitely rely on the internet too much. It's fucking mind-boggling that in such a short amount of time, we have developed an unconscious obsession with staying connected and having access to all information. So much so that it's the first thing that we do when we wake up in the morning. Yes, I am guilty of that. So this is why South Park has created yet another what-if scenario. What if there was no internet?
What's happening? Folks, there's no internet here.
Yeah, shit would definitely go down. Mind you, this was in 2008, before smartphones took over, which is why you see people holding their laptops over their heads instead of their phones.
Get out of the way, Peterson!
As anticipated, with no internet, madness breaks out. People can't even turn to the news to get answers.
Once again, we apologize, but we cannot bring you the news. It appears that we have no internet here at News 4.
This is yet another example of South Park once again enlightening us, this time on all the things we rely on the internet for.
What's the matter?
I don't know. I need to get on WebMD and see why I have this cough, but I can't.
In an effort to search for the internet, it suddenly goes grapes of wrath on our asses when the Martians decide to make their way out to California. Hence, the internet becomes that invisible opportunity that only a few people have access to.
I'm going down the road, feeling bad, oh lordy. My internet done up and went away.
The ever-present relevance of this episode couldn't be any more clear, which is why it's on the list. And ever since 2008, our use of the internet is now fucking out of control. And maybe the longest conversation you've had with your family is over the fucking Wi-Fi not working. Mom! Wi-Fi's out! Yes, we can fully admit that without this fucking thing, we are like fucking mole rats, and shame on us. Once again, we need South Park to tell us this. Something that is so freaking obvious, something that we do every day, almost every minute of the day. Is the internet like an endless running water pipe that we can just take as much as we want from? Or will it eventually run dry and leave us like the fucking helpless mole rats we are? Well, we might very well find out.
So let us learn to live with the internet, not for it. No more browsing for no apparent reason, no more mindlessly surfing on our laptops while watching television. And finally, we must learn to only use the internet for porn twice a day. Max.
Only twice a day, Randy? Shit. Number 6.
My name is Daryl Weathers, and I'm with the Construction Workers Union. I work with a lot of fine men who have families to feed. I don't know about y'all, but we worked long and hard to get our pay up to a level where we can make a decent living. And now these people from the future are showing up and offering to do the same work for next to nothing. They took our jobs.
Yeah, you knew this was coming, didn't you? This one is on the list solely because
they took our jobs
is probably one of the best catchphrases in South Park history. Even though other catchphrases such as
Whatever, I do what I want.
And...
Oh, yeah, scissor!
And...
Do you like fish sticks?
And...
What seems to be the officer problem?
Are memorable too. They don't quite measure up to...
They took our jobs!
Sorry, you're gonna think I'm fucking crazy, but I don't think the fish sticks joke is funny. Yes, you can wish me dead. Only South Park can make an everyday, mundane phrase like...
They took our jobs!
A fucking scream. It is so fucking good that you don't even care about the rest of the episode. But it's pretty damn good too, so you sit through it anyway. It's South Park after all. The idea that this is about an advanced species of humans from the future who come to a present-day South Park looking for work is pretty damn clever, as I'm sure all of us can think of a particular minority race who's taking all the working class jobs.
They took our jobs!
Shut up. As the episode progresses, we see that the people from the future are in some ways doing better than the people in the present. And the people of South Park struggle to adjust to them being around.
I want a double cheeseburger and fries.
Chicken sandwich?
Though this episode doesn't exactly propose a solution, because in the end they decided it's gay, it's still worth it to hear that catchphrase again.
They took our job!
And again.
They took our jobs!
And again.
They took our jobs!
They took our jobs!
They took our job!
That you'll be saying it to yourself every time a similar situation happens to you or somebody else you know.
They took my job!
They took our job!
What's that, Alexa? They replaced you with a Micronesian at Wendy's, but you've been with them for 3 years. They took your job!
Their job! They took our job!
They took our job!
Shut up! Number 5.
Battlefield. Joseph Smith was called a prophet. Dum 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 dum. He started the Mormon religion. Dum 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 dum.
Yeah, you knew this was coming too. How can you have a greatest fucking South Park episodes list without this one? This one is so fucking iconic that Matt Stone and Trey Parker wrote a musical based on this episode. Yeah, so if they think it's iconic, I guess we should too. But okay, you gotta admit that the way they put this episode together, it feels as if they know how every single second of this episode was going to play out, down to the musical scenes. This is probably one of those episodes that they wrote early on, but they waited until they had the appropriate amount of authority to present it. Even though they don't outwardly bash Mormonism, I don't think there are any subtle hints here.
I have the golden plates here in this hat. I need to have them somewhere dark so I can read the spiritual light.
And that's how the Book of Mormon was written. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum.
South Park does, however, bring up a good point that the reason that the Mormon way of life appeals to some people is because of the image of togetherness and harmony Mormon families give off. Hence, naive Randy tries out the Mormon lifestyle for a while, and the Marshes pay dearly for it.
Isn't this great, you guys? Our first family home evening.
I want to watch TV.
We're not watching TV. We're Mormons now, and we're having family home evening.
In the end, though, Stan gets his ass handed to him by the Mormon kid, which was a spectacular way to end it. Because it says that religious people don't necessarily believe everything about their religion, Mormons included, but they believe in the lifestyle of goodness and charity it instills, and that's why they follow their religion.
The truth is, I don't care if Joseph Smith made it all up, because what the church teaches now is loving your family, being nice, and helping people. And even though people in this town might think that's stupid, I still choose to believe in it. All I ever did was try to be your friend, Stan. But you're so high and mighty you couldn't look past my religion and just be my friend back. You got a lot of growing up to do, buddy. Suck my balls.
On a side note, I saw the Book of Mormon in 2014, dum 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 dum, and I learned what Hasadiga Ibawai means, dum 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 dum.
Excuse me, sir, but what exactly does that phrase mean? Well, let's see. Ibawai means God, and Hasadiga means fuck you.
Well, I hope I sparked your interest enough. Moving on. before.
Global warming is going to strike 2 days before the day after tomorrow. Oh my God. That's today.
Yeah, he said global warming. Big fucking deal. However, what's important is the events that lead up to this global warming scare. Thanks to Stan and Cartman, a nearby town gets flooded, and rather than doing something about it, people are simply looking at who to blame.
It's George Bush's fault.
It was terrorists and Al-Qaeda.
The mayor of Beaverton should have done something about that damn years ago.
Finally, they settle on
global warming.
You guys remember Hurricane Katrina, right? Oh, come on, it wasn't that long ago. This episode was South Park's response to Hurricane Katrina, and it's clear that South Park was not very happy with how the US handled it. In this case, the people of South Park end up freaking the fuck out over global warming striking, or in other words, absolutely nothing. They are thoroughly convinced that they are about to witness a drastic meteorological change, leading to this famous clip.
Everyone below this line will have to be evacuated to the south. Everyone above this line is already dead. People like us in the middle states have to ride it out. The balmy southwestern states might have a chance, but New York will have tidal waves that envelop all of the Northeast.
In the midst of this whole global warming shit, people are stuck on the roofs of their houses waiting for rescuers. But people are so involved in protecting themselves and figuring out the cause that no action is being taken to help them.
Anybody? We'd like to be rescued, please.
This is yet another example of South Park's genius. Instead of replicating the situation entirely, they spoof them and use their approach to demonstrate the laughable flaws in people.
Tell them that the government can't help them, but that we're very sorry. You know the plan, people. We can only evacuate citizens below this line.
South Park has made multiple references to real-life historical events, the most recurring one being 9/11. But this one about Hurricane Katrina made the list because the way they chose to handle it was breathtaking. There was no hurricane, no New Orleans, but the reference is so fucking clear that we don't even have to question it. That is something only South Park can do. And to make it fucking hilarious to boot, who the fuck else can do that? Bottom line is, when disaster strikes, rather than worrying about the victims, we're just trying to save our own fucking hides.
Oh, Jesus! Here it comes! Global warming!
Yes, even from global warming.
Love is
Number
a
3.
battlefield.
Today, we are going to talk about hell. Hell is not a very nice place. Burning, searing, flames. For Satan has made it the most miserable place in the universe. And he will be your ruler of pain and agony.
Are we going to the hooky low? The hooky, 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 hooky low. Are we going to the hooky low? The hooky, 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 hooky low.
Well, if hell's like Hawaii, I guess I'm already in hell. Because I live there. Throughout its run, South Park has done a number of 2-parters, and even 3-parters. And yes, some are better than others, while others sort of missed the mark. This 2-parter revolves around the complicated romance between Satan and Saddam Hussein, and the South Park kids' fear of eternal damnation in hell, thanks to Father Maxie's encouraging words.
A place of everlasting agony and pain. Hell awaits all sinners and all who do not accept Christ.
Yes, there was a time when South Park's Christian overtones were quite prevalent. This is yet another example of South Park's interpretation of Christianity, but in a more comical sense. Hence, Satan is written as a big-horned, big-hoofed homosexual with an affinity for hosting parties, and former lover of Saddam.
Hello, Satan!
Saddam.
Yes, Satan has been a recurring character throughout South Park since his first appearance in Season 1. Since then, the Prince of Darkness has been acting as the prima donna drama queen ever since.
Get out of the way, Hitler! You're ruining my entrance! Go!
In this two-parter, Satan's former lover Saddam attempts to sabotage Satan's new relationship with his new mellow, sensitive, tree-hugging boyfriend. Wow. Who the fuck thinks of that? At the same time, the mortal fear of hell motivates the South Park kids to go Christian full force, parodying charismatic churches.
Where are you from, little boy? Denver. And God is telling me that you have bad eyesight. Is that it? Yeah, that's right.
Because of episodes like these, in a way, South Park shows that it is a fucking religion. South Park says that every religion is flawed and fallible, and in the end, there is no substitute for good judgment. How? How did South Park know that? Well, whether you believe in heaven or hell, the bottom line is, according to South Park, you'll either end up in Hawaii or Mormon City.
We've got cookies and punch, and we're just about to start playing charades.
Yeah, maybe we should just stick to our own present shitty lives.
Love is a battlefield.
Here's the first most requested candidate, a giant douche.
Y'all ready for this?
Go, giant dude!
And now your second nominee, Turd Sandwich.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
All right, Turd Sandwich!
Students can now cast their choice between the giant douche and the Turd Sandwich. We'll count up the votes on Tuesday.
Yes, you fucking called it. We just can't deny it. Douche and Turd was undoubtedly one of South Park's best, and it changed the way that many of us look at politics forever.
But Stan, don't you know? It's always between a giant douche and a turd sandwich.
This episode was so fucking important because it satisfied a thought that many of us have on election day. Oh my god, I don't like either of these people. I mean, this guy's a pussy and this woman's a bitch. And is that even a woman? Why'd I even show up? Thanks to South Park, many of us look at every election differently now, studying who is a douche and who is a turd sandwich. This concept stuck so much that South Park rehashed the idea in season 20.
Will you be voting for the giant douche or the turd sandwich?
Well, this is usually a giant douche household, but we are going firmly with the turd sandwich.
It's very rare that we see something that just seems to flow perfectly from beginning to end. But everything down to PETA and Puff Daddy really works. It's fucking incredible.
Vote or die, mother, vote or die.
Rock the vote or else I'm gonna stick a knife through your eye.
Democracy is founded on one simple rule.
Get out there and vote or I will motherfucking kill you.
It even points out that sometimes people only want you to vote so that their candidate will win.
Whoa, wait, what are you doing? I'm voting. No, you wrote down turd sandwich. Yeah, I know. Dude, you're supposed to vote for giant douche.
Yeah, Douche and Turd is undoubtedly a South Park classic. We know it, they know it. It summed up what every election is about and reaffirmed that voting by no means solidifies a better future for everyone.
I learned that I better get used to having to pick between a douche and a turd sandwich because it's usually the choice I'll have.
He's going to vote!
Hey, it's election day, and here are our candidates. How privileged we are to have the right to vote for a future that will fucking suck either way.
Let's get out and vote. Let's make our voices heard. We've been given the right to choose between a douche and a turd.
No matter what country you're in, it will always be between a giant douche and a turd sandwich.
A big fat turd or a stupid douche. Which do you like best?
And here we are. The fucking greatest South Park episode of all time. I hope you're pumped, because I am. Number 1.
A cartoon. A cartoon is about to air on American television with the Muslim prophet Muhammad as a character.
What cartoon would be so insensitive as to have Muhammad as a character?
Who do you think? The cartoon that's always pushing buttons with their careless toilet humor. Family Guy.
I know what you're fucking thinking. Oh, ACC, you're so fucking biased. Of course you ranked this episode number 1 because you hate Family Guy. Well, yeah, but that's not the only reason. Yes, I am an avid hater of Family Guy and have been for a long time, but that is not the reason why this is ranked number 1 on the list. The reason that this is ranked number 1 is because the issue that is being addressed is censorship. South Park has waged a war against censorship since the very beginning, challenging the norms of what actually can be seen on TV and cartoons, and constantly landing in deep shit with Comedy Central execs, religious groups, angry parents, and pissed off celebs for their controversial content. As a result, South Park is the epitome of a controversial cartoon and has been for the past 20 years. However, there is another cartoon that also takes a lot of risks with their controversial content and is probably South Park's rival, the show no other than Family Guy.
Peter, I can't believe you invited your old high school sweetheart over for dinner.
You think that's bad? Remember when I auditioned to be David Hasselhoff's car? Hey there, Knight Rider.
After those bad guys, Kit.
I'm sure that we can imagine that when Family Guy first came out, South Park was indeed intimidated. Here was another show that was doing exactly what they were doing, except with a more gimmicky style that people seem to respond well to, if not better in some ways. Therefore, South Park wastes no time poking fun of Family Guy's randomized humor.
But Dad, why would you invite an ex-girlfriend to dinner?
Perhaps he wants to make our mother nervous. Nervous? Like when I had to sell pancakes to the school soccer captain? Pancakes for you, Captain?
I'll be the captain, and you be Tennille.
Love will keep us together.
But again, irony strikes. Instead of stating themselves as the cartoon that always pushes buttons with their controversial humor, they use Family Guy.
Why would Family Guy so blatantly insult Muslims?
Because Family Guy doesn't care who they insult. They only care about their precious money.
Yes, in reality, they are talking about themselves. We know that already. But they're deliberately using a rivaling show's name to express how people react to their content. Again, fucking genius. But then we have this whole issue about showing an image of Muhammad and the Muslims threatening Family Guy over it. Therefore, Cartman sets off to get the episode pulled, with the hidden intention to get Family Guy off the air.
So my plan is to use this whole Muhammad thing as a way to scare the network into pulling tonight's show. I'm going to use fear to get them to do what I want.
Isn't that like terrorism?
Oh, shit. Yes, leave it to South Park to enlighten us once again. Those who encourage censorship or allow themselves to be threatened into not expressing themselves freely are allowing things like terrorism to work. Every time I think about it, I cannot express how powerful that message is. It's this 2-part episode that defines the reason why shows like South Park are so important. They remind us to never be afraid to say what we want, ever. And if people don't like it, that's their problem, not ours.
Freedom of speech is at stake here, don't you all see? If anything, we should all make cartoons of Muhammad and show the terrorists and the extremists that we are all united in the belief that every person has a right to say what they want. For the past few decades, we haven't had to risk anything to defend it. But those times are going to come. And one of those times is right now. And if we aren't willing to risk what we have, then we just believe in free speech. But we don't defend it.
And that is why South Park exists. They have been fighting censorship since the beginning of time, and they are never going to stop. And we, as the fans, need to keep fighting too, rather than burying our heads in the sand and pretending it's not happening.
Do the right thing. Show Muhammad. Do the right thing.
Well, that's it, I guess. The greatest fucking South Park episodes of all time. Yeah, sorry to disappoint. If this was a funniest episodes list, best celebrity cameos list, or whatever, maybe the episodes you had in mind would have made the list. But the basis of South Park is honesty, integrity, and good judgment. And it's a timeless concept that will never go away. And we need shows like South Park to remind us every day that this is what we're living for. So, thank you, South Park, for teaching us how to live in this fucked up world. I'm Daisy C, and I and the people of South Park have one final message. We are strong. No one can tell us we're wrong. Searching our hearts for so long. All of us knowing love is a battlefield.
I never meant to be so bad to you. One thing I said that I would never do.
One look from you and I would fall from grace.
And that would wipe the smile right from my face.
Do you remember when we used to dance? And incidental arose from circumstance.
One thing led to another, we were young. And we would scream together songs unsung.
It was the heat of the moment, telling me what your heart meant. The heat of the moment shone in your eyes.